Alright, and we are back again. This time we are going to be reviewing Joker. And I will say, I have lots of things to say. But as usual, we are going to start with Lamar's thoughts.
You had begun saying this in the theater, and I think I had arrived to this conclusion about 15 minutes before. But this might be the best movie I've seen in a very long time. This is also the best superhero movie I've seen in a very long time. Period.
Does this count as a superhero movie?
I think it is, and I'm going to explain why. It played exactly like a superhero arc.
Yeah.
You just substitute bad things happening to a person and becoming evil.
Yeah.
But this is a superhero story.
Yeah.
And even the music, the score of this movie is very superhero-esque. It's like, it was kind of like watching, honestly, a Marvel movie. That's how well this was put together for me, anyway. There were
better because they didn't have the limitation of it being like PG-13.
And they didn't have the limitation of it being a hero. A typical hero.
Yeah.
Like, they could really delve into the psyche of Joker and show the complete depths of his character.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. It was very good. There are two motifs actually there are three of them. There are three I want to focus on, but actually there are a lot of them. But Joker's identity, my knowledge of Joker, aside from the animated series, are these movies that we've gotten recently. And we don't know who the Joker is. We don't know his name, don't know where he came from. We don't know why he does what he does. And even after this movie, the last one, we kind of get it. He's crazy, and he wants society to stop acting so high and mighty.
Yeah.
But who he is, what his name is, where he came from, what his background is, we still don't know those things. And that's something that I liked about The Dark Knight. And even, I don't remember, Batman 89, where Joker was played by Jack Nicholson.
You're going back too far for me.
Yeah. And even Jared Leto in Suicide Squad. You don't know who Joker is.
Yeah. He just shows up.
He just shows up and he's just causing mayhem. This movie stuck to that. I thought that was really good.
I mean, did it? Did it stick to that?
We don't know his name.
Was Arthur not really his name?
No.
Because he was adopted.
Yeah. And even on the adoption papers in his mom's file,
it
said name of actual child, and it's unknown.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
And the thing that you were lost about is his mom had written a letter to Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, so I saw that.
Oh, okay.
But I guess when I saw that, I wanted to clarify with you of whether we thought that letter was real. Because I wasn't sure.
At first I did.
Yeah.
And then when the guy at the gate said no, she was crazy, I was like, oh, that makes total sense.
Gotcha. And see, so it was interesting because, like, the way that they played that scene, I think this was intentional, but it kind of made it seem like, oh, is he trying to cover it up, like what she was saying? But
yes, I agree. But it was less of that than she was crazy too.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I think they proved her. I think, because I was going to ask you if you thought it was supposed to be open to interpretation whether or not she was lying, but I think him imagining that girl with him kind of shows that she probably was making that up, or not really making it up. She might have believed it, but
in her file, it says that she was crazy. It also said that she allowed Arthur to be physically abused by her boyfriend at the time. So yes, I fully believe she was delusional, and that letter was just her last dying wish to try to make something happen before she died. There was his laugh, which I can't believe how good that premise is. It would have never occurred to me. And maybe this is an actual thing about the Joker, the actual comic book character, but now whenever I hear his laugh now, it's so different. Like, he's not laughing out of amusement.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a random emotion, and that's the response his body goes with.
I'm gonna have to watch other movies and see if he is that way in those. Because I mean, like, the way that he laughed to me in this movie seemed different than the way that any other actor portrayed the laughter.
What do you mean?
Like, when I saw the laughter in this movie, I saw it from the lens of it being his condition or whatever. But like the way the laughter sounded, I guess just sounded to me as a little bit different.
Oh yeah, it's different in all of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if that was a theme that would have like. Were you saying when you hear you were just saying how you hear the laugh differently now?
Yeah.
Were you just saying only in this movie, or when you think of other movies?
Not
too?
the literal sound.
Just like okay, like. Joker's laugh in general, the character's
like
laugh.
Again, he's not laughing because something is funny.
Yeah.
He's having an emotional response, but his body doesn't know what laughter
I guess
is.
what I was wondering is, were you putting this movie's logic into other Joker portrayals?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, in the character.
Yeah.
So yes. But now, as you were saying, going back and watching other movies and thinking about the Joker's laugh through the lens of it being a condition.
Yeah.
It's just blows my mind.
Yeah, because the thing is, the interesting thing about this movie, and I'm glad that they decided to touch on mental illness, which was something that that's something that really doesn't get talked about at all, especially in like Hollywood movies and stuff. And so I thought it was really interesting that they were able to not only touch on that, but put it in a movie that wasn't going to be just, hey, here's a mental illness movie that you don't care about.
Right.
Like, they actually put it into something that people already really love, but they also didn't cheapen it in any way, which I thought was really interesting. So I really want to, I know this is jumping like ways in the end. Okay, sorry.
Let me get through this last motif.
Okay.
And then you can say whatever you want about your nonsense.
What? It's not nonsense.
It's gonna be nonsense.
It's actually, you're gonna agree with it actually, but continue.
Fine. The stairs.
When he ran?
The stairs.
When he ran
throughout
with his
the movie.
Oh, there were a lot of stairs. I guess I didn't realize that.
At the beginning of the movie, he's walking upstairs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming from this job that he can't ever get right. He gets beat up. He loses his job. And after all these bad things that happen to him, he climbs up these stairs to what I consider, when I was watching the movie, was high society.
Okay.
He went back up to his lavish lifestyle with his mom and this life that he thought was perfect at the time. He met this girl. There were a lot of things good happening to him at the top of these stairs, but it was always right after the lowest moment in his life. And as the movie progressed and he begins to find out who he really is and his identity as the Joker, he stops taking his medication. He has his first retaliation in violence. He begins walking down the stairs, and his expression is different. He looks happier going back down the stairs, back down into the depths of society, back down into where he feels where he belongs now. He understands that's who he is, that's where he's come from. And it's triumphant as he comes down the stairs, and especially that last one where the cops are chasing him and he does the dance.
Yeah.
That was probably the most pivotal moment of his character development, I think anyway. As he's kind of gracefully moving down these stairs. But when he does steal his mother's file from that psychiatric ward, he runs down some stairs.
Yeah.
And when he gets down there, he reads it and then finds out who he really is.
Yeah, or finds out who he's not. I guess.
Exactly. So there's just so much to think about in this movie. The writers did an amazing job, and I also love the soundtrack in this movie.
Oh, the soundtrack was great.
And not only was it great, but it knew that it wasn't the focus of the movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes where there's no music.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes not even any speech. You just see what's happening.
Yeah.
You feel and you are able to process what the characters are processing on the screen. And Joaquin Phoenix is just, he's just killing it.
He laid it down.
He did.
He did. He put it all the way
If
down.
this movie, and it's not going to, I'm gonna be so mad. This movie needs an Oscar.
You don't think it'll get an Oscar?
This movie needs several Oscars.
You don't think it'll get them?
This movie needs all the Oscars.
It does need all the Oscars. Okay, so I want to say...
Because it's a superhero movie, I am hesitant to say it'll get one.
Is that something that doesn't happen for superhero movies? Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. See, that's the thing, and like that's why I kind of feel like it was removed enough from the superhero stuff.
I think once they introduced Bruce Wayne...
Yeah.
And his parents...
Yeah.
It kind of threw you back in.
Oh, no, I was definitely in Gotham. I felt like I was in Gotham, I get that. But it's still, like, there was so much else going on, and there was so much, like you said, there were so many themes, there was so much, like, depth to the characters, and, like, Bruce and his family, like, the portrayal of Thomas Wayne was, like, way different than anything we had ever seen before. And so, like, yes, they gave us, like, the same setting, but it didn't feel like... I didn't feel like I was watching a superhero movie at all. So that's what I'm saying. I was so... like, I'm wondering...
I didn't feel like I was watching a Batman movie. It was still a superhero movie to me.
No, I understand what you're saying. But I guess I'm saying, like, hopefully the way that the people, like, at the Oscars will see it is that they won't see it that way.
Right.
But no, what I really wanted to say, and you got into this just a little bit a second ago. I made a joke about this in the theater, but like, and I didn't mean it to sound the way that it sounded, but I asked you, I was like, was it bad that he killed those 3 guys? And obviously, yes, he shouldn't have killed them, but like, they also were attacking him. Like, that was kind of self-defense, except for the last guy that he stalked up to the stairs. But like, the first guy that he shot, like, those guys were beating him to death. Like, I felt like that wasn't necessarily, like, the worst thing. It looked just like an act of self-defense to me.
I don't know.
He was on the ground and they were kicking him. Like, if you're getting assaulted like that, like, you can shoot somebody. Like...
Okay.
That's all I was saying.
I don't know.
Had that been that woman that was sitting there that they were kicking to death... Like, I'm sure people would have not batted an eye about her shooting them.
I don't know if I necessarily batted an eye, but you asked me if killing them was wrong.
Oh, yeah, no, okay. No, it was. Oh. I said it was bad, yeah. But I guess, like, when I saw that, of all the things that he did in the movie that were bad, that just was the least...
It was the least bad.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Okay. But okay, so now I wanted to get to...
I'll say this. Everything else he did in the movie as far as violence, it was cold-blooded. There was no reason for it.
Yeah.
I agree.
But yeah, so... And I thought that was interesting, and I guess at this point it didn't matter, but like, how he chose not to say it. He didn't try to like justify it with that at the end when he was on the TV show. Because he was basically just like, I don't care if I was defending myself. I hate all of you. And so like that was interesting. But so what I will say is one of the best things I've ever seen on screen ever is the fact that they were able to put in the Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne death scene in a way that was like a victory for the movie, which was so freaking cool, because we've seen that over and over again. We've all seen that scene, and like every time they put it in a movie, we're just like, God, okay, we have to watch this again. Like, how many times can we watch this? But then this time they put it at the end as the climax of the movie, which in it they didn't like. I didn't think that was going to be in the movie. Right. I didn't think that we needed that. No, we did need it. We needed all of it. But when I was going into the movie, I didn't expect to see a Batman origin story sort of thing. And so how they built up that whole night, how they built up the fact that like the night that Batman was born was the night that Joker was fully realized as the Joker too, basically. And so I was like, wow, that is so interesting, and it just like intrinsically linked those two characters on like a deeper level. And I just loved that scene so much. The second I saw the theater, I didn't even see them coming out yet, but the second I saw that they were at a theater, I was like, oh, this is happening. I was so happy.
And not only does it link them in that way, but in Joker's mind anyway, they're already linked. Yeah. And I think that was the reference to the joke he was talking about at the very end. His dad didn't want him. Yeah. So he killed him. And now his son doesn't get to have that dad either.
Gotcha.
I think that was the joke.
Oh, is that what he was? You think that's
I
what
think
he was
that's
talking
what he was
about?
Yeah.
Huh? Because I thought he had gotten over the Thomas Wayne stuff.
I think he did, but it was still funny.
Gotcha. I didn't. Okay. I thought Thomas Wayne's death was just a byproduct of the night. I didn't think Joker really cared about whether he died.
I don't think he necessarily orchestrated it.
Yeah.
But he heard it.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, that's kind of funny."
So what I love about the ending, and I was wondering how much of what was going on was Joker's doing, and I think none of it, as far as like what the mob was doing.
Right.
And so that's what I thought was so great, because it was like, it wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna have my henchman drive an ambulance into this car and save me. It was like, hey, that's our guy. Like, we've all just decided, like, we're behind this dude, and we're gonna break him out of this police car right now if we don't kill him in the accident. And so I just like the fact that like that he wasn't really orchestrating any of the stuff that was happening, but it was all done in his name, was so cool to me.
Yes, and it builds his legend, really, of all of the people who are following him. Like, if you know Joker present day, and you know that he has all these henchmen, he has all these people who are following him, and you just know they're there.
Yeah.
But to see why they're
Exactly.
there, and not because of a speech he gave or something he told to them, but because they understood his actions and were like, yeah, I think you could be who saves the city. Yeah. Basically.
And like you were just saying, we've seen his legions of followers in other movies, but we've never known like why are they doing this? Yeah. Like, did these people just wake up one day and were just like, I'm just gonna be bad, right? Like, and so I mean, it's not like that ever mattered. That was never a question that needed to be answered before. But having the answer is awesome. So I was just like, I don't know.
Another theme of the movie is, and we talked about it with the 3 kids who got murdered, was good and bad.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe that mob was inciting violence for the sake of violence.
Oh, no, not at all. Like when
they beat up those 2 cops.
Yeah.
He shot one of them. Yeah. They didn't know what was happening. There was just gunshot. Mm-hmm. One of their people went down, and the cop did it for no reason.
Which brings up the, well, I guess kind of speech that Joker gives on the talk show, which was brilliant. But he says that no one thinks about the other. Right. And that was what this whole movie was about, basically. And so, like, we've seen Batman, like, kicking butt and, like, you know, stopping the Joker, and we've rooted for the Joker on other occasions as well. But this movie really, like, put us all in the collective, like, group of the Joker, you know? Yeah. And, like, it showed us, like, hey, we know you guys like this character, and this is why you like this character. Right. And, like, I didn't go to the movie expecting that, and it was awesome that I got that.
And what I also really liked is Joker didn't have an adversary in this movie.
Not at all. Yeah.
And not that he was fighting something and no one could stand up to him. It was just, he was just learning who he was. Yeah. And there was no Batman or no good that was coming at him in the opposite direction to stop him. It was just, society made him into this.
And he really didn't need to be stopped quite really in this movie.
He wasn't doing it.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting about it, is like the world was turning and like these things were just unfolding around him, and like you said, he was becoming who he was and figuring out who he was and wasn't, and that all just kind of happened to culminate in this recognition of him that happened at the end. But yeah, it wasn't that he had some master plan that he was like enacting. Like, he just was like not even, kind of in a way just kind of standing up for himself. Yeah. And so,
don't get me wrong, and I'm sure you also agree, he was a murdering psychopath.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was crazy.
Yeah.
He killed people for no reason.
Yeah, we're not saying he's... Yeah, I know.
I just want to put that out there.
Confused about...
No, I don't want anyone to be confused.
Gotcha, yes.
Please understand that the Joker is a nutcase.
Yes, unlike my girl Gabby, Joker is...
We're not even going there. Let's not impugn this masterpiece of a movie with any other nonsense.
See, I didn't. You said you thought I was gonna be talking nonsense earlier, but I saved it.
Rude.
But yeah, no, like it was spectacular, and just like you said, I'm glad because like it could have been a anti-hero movie in the sense of like they put the superhero in there to make him look like a bad guy, and they didn't do that, because they didn't need to, which was awesome because they really, and I mean they said this overtly, but it wasn't like hitting you in the face either, but like they overtly said like society is the problem. We're doing this to people like actively, because when you see a person and they don't look disfigured or anything, you think there's nothing wrong with them, and you're just like, okay. And there's that quote, I don't know if you read it, but it said like the worst part about having a mental illness is that people expect you to behave as if you don't.
Yeah.
And that's totally true, because like, and so the movie was really trying to tell people like, just because you can't see a person's illness doesn't mean it isn't there.
Right.
And so I think that's something that like really needed to be seen.
I think that quote also means, or tries to say, is mental illness is a thing.
Yeah.
Don't try to make people who have it ashamed of it.
Yeah.
And pretend like they don't have it.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to help anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So there's those two messages in that one quote, and again, it's something that society does need to hear, and to put it in the superhero movie was just genius.
Oh yeah, because
it was like, everyone's going to see it.
Exactly. And it was like, hey, yeah, sure, you get to watch your movie and you get to see your senseless violence, but let's think about the fact that this can actually happen, and these are usually the people who are doing it, and this is why.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
He's just a regular person.
Yeah.
I've never considered Joker to be anything other than what I've seen on the cartoons or the movies, but he's just some regular guy.
Yeah, just seeing him just like be a dude, and just being
having
like,
a job,
having a life,
being poor, using public transportation. And he's a regular guy.
I'm glad you mentioned his job. The moment where I realized what kind of movie I was watching was when his boss was asking him to get that sign back.
Oh.
And his face just goes blank, and it's just silent, and the guy's voice that's talking is slowly getting lower, or like getting quieter, and we're just looking at the Joker's face as he's like, really, dude? Really? Are you serious? I'm gonna kill someone. Like, not even joking. Yep. I'm gonna kill somebody. And obviously he wasn't thinking it yet. Oh, and then secondly, they really cleverly showed his descent into madness in certain scenes, and that was one of them. But secondly, the scene where he's just like casually talking to his mom when she's in the hospital, and then all of a sudden he has a pillow, like really quickly he had that pillow, and like I didn't see that coming. It's not that it was surprising that he killed her, but like I didn't know it was going to happen as quickly as he did it.
I wasn't surprised because he had just learned all of that stuff.
No, and like I said, it made complete sense, but like I thought that he was going to like talk to her while she was comatose for a while. I thought there was going to be some monologue, but he got straight to it.
Oh no.
And that's why I was like
I was fully committed to the murder at that point. Back up. I was fully committed to this character's development. I'm not committed to murder.
Like, seriously? I just cut that part out, erase all of this, and just say I was fully committed to the murder, and I got you. Like, right there. Like, I was have to find any random murder that's happened around here, and be like, oh, here's this, by the way, guys.
Taped confession? He was fully committed to that murder.
How did you get this tape, by the way?
They're his words. Go get it. Don't worry about the tape. If anybody else gets killed, he also did that. Because you have the tape. He doesn't mention what murder.
We can't be doing stuff like this. Okay, but yeah, so like I know people have been talking about this movie, and like the way that it has been described Like, I've seen all the words used to describe it, and a lot of the times, like, in the trailer, they'll put these words on it that critics have used, and you're just like, did they really say that? And I'm sure they usually do, but, like, I guess the point is, like, I've always wondered, like, are the critics just, like, hyping this movie up? But this time, every single word I saw described this movie perfectly. Like, this movie was so good, and it was so dark, and, like, there were points in time where I was like, are there like 5-minute breaks in this? I just need to like wrap my head around what's happening right now. And like they threw some curveballs, like with making us think for like 2 seconds that he was Bruce Wayne's brother, which was interesting. And I mean, I think I believed that just because I wanted to believe it for a second, because I was like, oh, that like makes me think of the Joker and Batman's relationship differently. But the way that it actually played out still makes me think of their relationship quite differently. And like I was just saying, that like the genesis of their characters, like, was that one night, that one pivotal night where Joker like was born and Batman was born, essentially. And I just like the way that they did that. I just like, I would have never expected anything that beautiful to happen before my eyes. Like, masterful. I think I've had a vision of my son's birth and it wasn't that beautiful. So like
so Rotten Tomatoes has this movie at 73%.
Are you serious?
Critics are terrible.
Critics are stupid.
I can't
I need to go and see what some of the stuff that they're saying.
I don't know. And I didn't want to get into this, honestly, because I just find it ridiculous. But a lot of the negative things that I've heard about this movie are it's too violent, and
it's not that
promotes violence, and it promotes violence towards women.
I didn't see very much violence towards women.
You didn't see it, but it was there. So he killed his mom. He killed that girl.
Yeah, but
he killed that doctor.
They just happened to be women. He killed other people.
I know.
I guess that it bothers me when people.
I know.
Okay.
That's the point that I'm also making.
Gotcha.
I completely agree with you. He killed a bunch of people in this movie.
Wait, did he kill the girl that he was into?
I think he did.
I wasn't sure if he killed her or not.
After that scene, he's in his room crying or laughing, and then you hear police sirens.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure they were responding to that.
Gotcha. Oh, that's sad. I didn't know that. But yeah, like I don't know. Like I'm a little bummed now that I know that he killed her. I mean, it doesn't matter in the movie, but like it was just I liked the fact that like. So this is what I was going to tell you the other day when I called you. I had watched a YouTube video about this guy, and he predicted correctly that he thought some of the movie was going to be Joker's imagination and some of the scenes, because he pointed out, and he was like, does it really make sense that this like very strange kind of like reclusive character is going to have this like really passionate relationship like that with this woman? And so I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. But then I watched the movie, and they Spider-Man'd me because I was like, oh, I know that there's the possibility this isn't real, but he's been with her for a while, and she's very clearly hanging out with him. So like whatever. But then the second she was like, you're in the wrong apartment, I was like, oh yeah, that was all fake. And so that was really cool. I liked the way that they did that, and I liked the reveal of it, the way that they like had her react to him to show us that that wasn't actually happening, was really cool.
Yeah, everyone of age has to see this movie.
Oh yeah.
There's no excuse. Is that a parking spot? That's
Maybe.
Not a parking spot.
It's
what
not?
Do you, no.
Oh, he's figuring this stuff. He's figuring his life out.
You're so awkward. Like what?
That was a little weird. There's no way he could have thought that was a parking spot. I didn't realize.
What were you doing?
It's over. The moment's passed.
Yeah, it is passed. But yeah, everybody has to see this movie, and you have to see it more than once.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see it again.
This is definitely a movie you see 2 or 3 times.
Like,
you have to give all the money to this movie because we need another one.
Oh my god. I'm still processing it, honestly. Like,
I mean, they could totally make 2 more of these movies
oh yeah.
and include
But
like Bruce Wayne as a teenager.
oh yeah, because he was pretty young in this movie, so
Yeah.
we could still get something new
Yeah,
that
he was
isn't
8.
like, yeah, we could still get new stuff that isn't like rehash things
Right.
about Bruce Wayne. That is so interesting. Wow.
You got
And just like the ending where he kills the lady that he's talking to
Mhm.
or whatever. Like, it was so funny because like you see him leaving, and this is intentional, but you see him leaving, it's like, oh, I guess he's going back to his cell or something, and you see the blood on his feet, and he's like, oh no, he's just leaving.
Yeah. And what I thought was interesting about that and the ambulance car crash and when he's talking to the police is like you think about him being just a regular person
Mhm.
and like yeah he's probably gonna get arrested and then yeah he obviously has to get out because he's always doing stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like they show you all these instances where he just gets out of jail.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love
that
it.
was funny because I was like, and I mean, I guess when you like recall how he got out of jail in The Dark Knight with the cell phone
Yeah.
and stuff, it's like, okay, something happened, some
Right.
creative thing
Right.
happened. But yeah, it is funny. I think I just suspended disbelief on that stuff because the movie obviously didn't want to tell me how he was
Mhm.
getting out, and I didn't care that much. But
I like that this movie just gave you random regular events that happen. Oh, there's a car crash. I'm not in jail anymore. Oh, these cops believe my stupid story. I'm not gonna go to jail today. I'll just murder somebody and then just escape. Like,
Okay, this movie, I have never. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's ever been a movie made about some person's villain that there's not one that I can think of.
I don't think
But-
there has been, honestly.
I think there has, but I just can't think of any right now. I mean, Venom, but,
that
like,
doesn't count. I'm not gonna count.
it's not on the same.
No,
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I don't
because
know.
he wasn't even a part of that universe. Period. At that point.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't part of a universe.
But they had Batman in it.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Venom was just like, we're just not.
We don't know who they kind of put the Daily Bugle in there.
Did Venom come out after Marvel had Spider-Man in the MCU?
Yeah.
So that's why they couldn't use him.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like still though, I'm sure there is some movie where there was that is just about a villain, but still like I just had never seen anything like this before. Because I've seen movies where they'll take you on a tour of like what the other side looks like or whatever, or like they'll show you a scene from the other perspective or something like that. But I've just never seen it done like this before.
Right.
Like it was so interesting, and just like I said, I'll keep talking about this, but like that theater scene, I'm still like that like made my whole day. Like the day is 24 hours long, and that was the best like 3 seconds of it that I've ever had. Like that was so good. I had never been so entertained from watching a movie.
That scene where I jumped.
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
So Arthur, this is at the beginning of the movie. Arthur gets beat up. He gets mugged. And these 4 kids steal his sign. He's a street performer, and he has this twirling sign. These kids steal his sign. They run away. He follows them miles into this alley, and then they jump him. They got him on the ground. They're kicking and punching him. Well, he gets back to his job, and he's in the locker room with all the other clowns, all the other guys, and one of them gives him a gun for protection, and it's a paper bag, and it's got like 6 bullets in it. And he says to the guy, "Hey, understanding his condition, he's like, I'm not supposed to have a gun. Like, why are you giving this to me?" Like, and his friend says, "Just take it. It's for protection. I heard about what happened, and they're all savages out there. Just take it." So, because that sign was taken, it was also damaged. He can't go back to this other job. He doesn't have the sign anymore. So he gets another spot, and he's kind of a Patch Adams kind of thing, and he's a doctor clown entertaining sick children. Well, he's doing this dance. He's singing and maritiming, having a good old time. All the kids are kind of laughing. He's kind of creepy, but they're children, so they're like, oh, okay, it's a clown. And then all of a sudden, the sound cuts out, and you see this black figure, and then you hear the thud of this gun hitting the ground or the floor of this hospital room full of children. And it terrified me. I was like, this movie just really did that? That made my day. Like, what? This movie really had the bravery to, like, that gun could have gone off and shot one of those kids.
Yeah.
Like, that was the danger there. That was the real danger. It's like, whoa, movie.
I guess I'm just, like, way too desensitized to things, because I was like, even if one of those kids had gotten shot, I would have been like, okay, kids get shot in movies sometimes. But I don't know. No, I understand what you're saying, but it was just, your reaction just was the most priceless thing. I had never seen you be so expressive about anything in a movie before. Like, that was so funny.
I think because of the innocence that Arthur had at that point.
Oh, okay.
It would have been a genuine, terrible accident.
Yeah.
But because of his condition, he didn't realize he should not have brought that gun into that hospital.
Yeah, that's true.
So there are all these things that culminated into, wow, this could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
And not even to his fault.
Yeah. That is really funny. So another thing we have to talk about that I totally forgot about is the scene where he kills his friend with the little person.
Oh, yeah.
That was so funny.
It was.
And the best thing about that really was the little person's reaction. And not because he was a little person at all, but just because of, like, any person in that room who got spared. He was like, what just happened? You are my friend. He was my friend. You just killed him and you don't care. And, like, it was just...
So... Okay, the movie pokes fun at little people. And... I want to be honest with you, the jokes are funny.
They were pretty funny.
So, toward the last third of the movie, the final act, as it starts, his two of his friends from work come visit him because his mom had just died, was murdered. And they bring over a drink and like, hey, we heard that your mom died, we want to come over, console you and whatnot. Well, he invites them into the apartment, and he closes the door, and then he closes the latch.
Yeah.
The chain. And I'm like, oh, we're doing this. But I didn't know who was going to die, both of them, one of them.
I actually didn't catch the chain thing, so I didn't know until he pulled the knife out that one of them was going to die. And I was like... He hears the knock at the door, and he hears his name. And he picks up these scissors off of his counter and he puts them in his back pocket. Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
I already knew he had.
I missed him. I missed him do that. Okay.
I didn't know who was at the door, but I knew they were gonna die.
Gotcha.
And then when he slid the chain across, like, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna die now. and then it made sense who he was gonna kill and why he killed him. But what was funny to me about the chain is it was at the height of, a normal door chain.
Yeah.
And then to realize that the little person was actually going to be let go, I knew the joke was he couldn't reach the chain.
See, I missed the chain being locked, so I didn't know that. And so when he actually walks up to the door and couldn't get out, I facepalmed. Like, I felt like that emoji, like, for real. I was just like, there's no way this movie is doing that right now.
They did.
But it was. Like, that movie, like, the balls on this movie.
Right?
Like, I can't even right
now.
My
goodness. They went for it, and it was amazing.
They went for it, and they, like, okay, I'm going to compare it to the little person jokes in The Wolf of Wall Street. Those weren't funny.
No.
That was just, like, gratuitous and obnoxious. Yeah. But these were, like, really... And, like, I think what made these jokes funny is that, like, they were coming from a friend to another friend just making fun of them. Right. And so I think that's why it was fine.
I legitimately could imagine that conversation being had.
Exactly.
And that joke being told.
And like, it wasn't like, let's put this little person on display. It was like, you're my friend, you happen to be a little person.
Right.
Just like if you, like, I have a gap tooth, if someone could just make jokes about my gap tooth. Like, that's all it was to me anyways. But that's not what that's not what jokes like that always come across like.
And that's another thing that this movie was really good at, was showing you all these different types of people who are real.
Yeah.
And they have other friends who are different than them.
Mm-hmm.
And they interact with them as if they were just any other person.
Yeah.
Like, that was the whole point, is we're all just people.
Yeah.
We have differences, but let's treat each other like human beings.
Yeah. I will go back to what I said in the theater when I was wondering why the black chick was talking to him, and you were like, because she's a person.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, but like, she shouldn't be talking to him. And I know why she was talking to him, because she wasn't talking to him.
I still, at the end, when she walks into her apartment and it's like, whoa, what are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
It still was, I could still see in her that she wanted to help him.
Oh,
she
yeah.
didn't mind
No,
talking to him.
I guess my point was like, I didn't think that she would have gone like overboard talking to him, like giving him more attention than I guess like there was a difference between like the little head gun thing in the elevator and like actually having conversations with him. It seemed like that's something you talk to him in passing because they're your neighbor and you're trying to be nice, but like for her to be actually trying to like engage him just didn't make sense to me, and didn't make sense because she wasn't actually doing it.
I never considered that relationship to mean anything.
Gotcha.
And I knew that it was going to end somehow.
Gotcha.
And I thought it was going to end in some kind of tragic form, and not necessarily that it was fake, but something was going to happen. He was not going to be with her anymore, and it was going to be terrible, and just another thing.
Gotcha. That
to add on.
Yeah.
So that may be why I wasn't as invested in wondering why it existed in the first place, because I knew it wasn't going to last.
I see. See, that's actually very interesting, because like with the knowledge that it might be fake in the back of my mind, I still, once she actually was like with him at the hospital and stuff, I was like, oh, I guess this is just his like love interest, and that's fine. This is like his Harley Quinn or something.
Yeah.
And so I was okay with that. But then they were like, nah, none of this is happening. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's also fine, because I didn't know.
Right.
And you tricked me, and that's good. I learned recently that I like to be tricked by movies.
Right.
So
just keep doing that, Hollywood.
You finally found something new to do.
Right.
That you're good at.
Oh, all movies need to do that from now on.
Right? And then we're gonna start complaining about
right.
Well, if they can keep all doing it successfully,
yeah,
then it'll be fine.
Because the complaint nowadays is, oh, we've seen that before.
Yeah.
Well, keep throwing things that we have seen
Kind of
before.
seen, yeah.
But yeah, no, not really. That's not what's happening.
Exactly, for sure. Oh man, I just still though, honestly, like, I'm glad that the movie didn't. Oh, I don't know. I literally, like, the movie could have ended with him on top of the car with everyone chanting, and I would have been fine. It would have been weird. It wouldn't have had quite the same closure that the actual ending did, but I would have still been fine if it ended like that. I would have been like, wow, okay, ending with like cheering on the Joker.
I think it ended that way because that's how it began. But
with him talking
the opposite.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, he was talking to the therapist, and he was trapped.
Yeah.
In that system that didn't really care about him, wasn't helping him get better, but he still had to keep going back there. He kept having to talk to her, and she wasn't listening because the system wasn't paying her, and all these things. Well, at the end, he still has to confront the system because he was arrested, but this time he has the power to help himself to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
Like, no, the system isn't working for me. I'm tearing it down. So he murders her and then escapes, and then has this Tom and Jerry cat mouse chase in the hallway.
Oh my god.
But I want to expound upon what you just said, actually. This movie really what is the word, immerses you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, you're not watching a movie.
Yeah.
This is a character study, and it's real life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's 2 hours and 2 minutes long or something like that. But I wasn't concerned about how long it was. I just wanted to know what was happening.
Yeah.
Like,
And
who are you?
just like another thing, back to like the big balls on this movie, is like they made Bruce Wayne's father look like Donald Trump.
Oh,
And
nope,
I just
nope,
like
nope.
What?
I'm not doing that.
Oh, not doing that?
Nope.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
We shouldn't do that.
We're not going to do that.
But that's what they did.
They did it. We'll just acknowledge that they did it.
And then we'll cut it out.
Yeah.
But yeah. So overall, just like, I had such a good time during this movie. Like, I knew I was going to like it, obviously, but I didn't know that I was going to love it like that.
Right.
And so for that, I'm going to go, are we doing ratings?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say, we're doing solid scores now. So, man, if we're doing solid scores, that puts me in a position, man. Because I don't want to give 10s.
Yeah, don't.
But like, because that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna give it a 9. That seems like the only thing that I can do.
That's the only thing you can do. It's definitely a 9. And as the movie was ending, I was trying to think to myself, what about this movie I didn't like? And I couldn't think of anything.
I can't think of anything either.
Like, is there anything about this movie? Because you could probably cherry pick out of context things that don't make sense, or why are they doing that, or that looks weird. But you really have to watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's a complete movie, and it all fits together. Everything has a reason for being in the movie.
There was nothing gratuitous about it at all. That's why I'm just like, I'm trying to just like, because like, yeah, when I think about, that's why when I said I had my dilemma about the 10, this is why I get my diving scores, is it gets me out of this position. But like, I can't think of any like actual criticism.
Yeah,
like I can't think of any moment where I was just like, I wish this wasn't happening, or like I kind of wish I wasn't watching this movie, because sometimes that happens when I see a movie. But yeah, like I just was enthralled the entire time. I will say, I guess the one thing I will say, and this isn't even a real criticism, because like I was wondering like, when's he gonna actually become the Joker? But that's what I was there for. That's what the movie was. So it was fine that it kind of took a while. And I mean, like, they like the steps that he had to take to become the Joker, like his mom's death was pretty pivotal, I think, to that. Like some of the stuff with like his trying to pursue his comedic goals. I feel like his dreams kind of needed to die first, which he referenced multiple times about people stomping on dreams and stuff like that.
Continuing to get beat up.
Yeah.
Learning.
Oh, absolutely. That was a huge thing.
Who he was. No, first of all, getting his hopes up about who he was, and then learning it was fake.
Yeah, true.
Realizing again that this dream, this fantasy of this girlfriend wasn't real. His delusions about his life all just came crashing down, and it broke him even more so than he already was, because he had repressed and suppressed his childhood.
Oh yeah, that was something that I thought was insane. Like the fact that he just absolutely did not remember any of that stuff was epic.
So yeah, he
and so
a lost cause from the beginning.
What I think is so great about, and this is gonna sound weird, this is gonna sound like more of what we were talking about earlier, but what I think was so great about all of his delusions falling away, and this like life that he thought that he lived, that he was frustrated with it, and he felt as negatively as I guess he could have with his circumstances, but like from just like a normal regular person perspective. But all of that comes crashing down and gives birth to something that for him is way more beautiful than his life could ever have been before. And so that's what's so great about it. Like, what he had always wanted was just like a few cheers at a comedy show, and he got a cult basically. And so like to see that happen at the end was just the way that they did that, and the way that they like rewarded him, even though that's kind of a weird thing to say. It's not really what people are looking for, but that's kind of what happened. It was just like, and I mean, unfortunately, like sometimes bad people get rewarded, so that is what happened in the movie.
And he says it twice in the movie, that his entire life he thought his life was a tragedy, but it turns out it's a comedy.
Yeah.
And that's really what happened, and that's how his brain now is going to process what's going on around him and how he moves throughout the world. This is all hilarious.
Yeah.
And you guys don't get it, but I'll show you. Yeah, it was just too good. It was too good. So my score is also a 9. And I'll have to watch it again to try to find something that I didn't like, because I'm sure that there was something, but again, it just is being buried under the complete story that was told.
Yes, that's the best way to say that, because like the gripes that I had about them, I can't remember them because of the way that the movie wrapped up.
Right.
It pieced it all together.
Right.
So yeah, I'm sticking with my 9.
Yeah.
Really, really, only reason I didn't give it a 10 is because that's ridiculous. So
yeah, essentially, this is the perfect movie.
This is the perfect
but
movie.
you can't give it a 10. That's really what's happening.
All right. Well, thank you guys for another great installment. Thanks for hanging in there with us. I'm not really sure what the next one's going to be, but we will definitely let you know, and we'll see you next time.